Michener has given to my brother-in-law. He's been there since he was 5. He was born normal and got encephalitis at 1.5 years old, and has been mentally handicapped ever since, and now physically handicapped as well. He's in a wheelchair, can't feed himself, but he gets exceptional loving care from the staff there. My brother-in-law has been there 55 years, and a few years ago the government told us they would never send them out, that they could stay there as long as they needed to until they died, and now they're kicking them out.
AUP, and I'm going to introduce our first guest speaker. Diane Wynchez is a city councillor from Red Deer, and she's sticking up for the Michener residents and the staff. So let's hear it for Diane.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you everyone to your City Hall, and level of government participation is very important. On behalf of Mayor Morris Flelling, I thank you for coming, and I have with me today Councillor Mulder and Councillor Wong. Our other councillors are away doing city business, or they may join us after their meeting. So, honourable friends of Michener Centre, citizens of Red Deer, members of Alberta Union of Provincial Employees, President Guy Smith and the leadership, thank you for coming. You may have read that our City Council passed a motion, and I'd like to share that with you. We certainly recognize our level of government as a municipal government doesn't have authority over provincial decisions such as Michener, but what impacts this is the people of our community. And while we know that potholes are important, and yes, bike lanes are important, and snow removal, this is about people. And people, my friends, is what counts and makes the city work. So on April 2nd, our City Council passed a resolution that urges the province to rescind its decision to close the Michener Centre. And I'll read the resolution. Whereas the Municipal Government Act, Section 3, outlines the powers of a municipality and includes the development and maintenance of safe and viable communities. And whereas, while the Michener Centre is under the jurisdiction of our provincial government, the recent announcement of the closure of the Michener Centre has impacts on the City of Red Deer, our citizens, and the broader community. And whereas in our community's history, Michener Centre has provided necessary and important supports to Albertans with developmental disabilities and for their families and friends. And whereas the Michener Centre is not an institution, but rather a community of people within our Red Deer community, and for the 230 residents, the Michener Centre is a home. And whereas there will be 125 people transitioned into the community or elsewhere in Alberta, which for these citizens and their families will result in a loss of familiarity, security, and safety they know. And whereas the closure of the Michener Centre and relocation of senior residents will place additional pressures on the capacity of long-term care beds in Red Deer and across Alberta, and whereas the transition of vulnerable residents into the community may result in impacts to other services that respond to safety, security, and health, including our non-profit community, and whereas the Michener Centre has been a major employer for Red Deer, and the closure and loss of jobs will impact many employees, their families, and the quality of life as taxpayers in our city. Municipality's final report, Moving Ahead, It's My Life, makes commitments that no one currently living at Michener Centre will be forced to move away from Michener Centre, and individuals with the assistance of family members and guardians will be the primary resource, identifying what is best for themselves and what kind of supports they require. And individuals who choose to remain at Michener Centre will have accessible, appropriate accommodation and access to the supports and services that meet or exceed current delivery and quality levels. And these commitments are being broken by the decision to close the Michener Centre. That the Council of the City of Red Deer send a letter to the Government of Alberta urging that the order to close the Michener Centre be rescinded, to allow the residents to continue their lives in peace, dignity, and respect at their current home, Michener Centre. So as you can see, we believe this is a significant concern to our constituents and families, and has the potential to be very detrimental to an extremely vulnerable portion of our community. Council appreciates the complexity of the issues related to facilities such as Michener Centre and the long-term residents who have found a home there, and we would appreciate the opportunity to have conversation with our government about this. We know that keeping Michener Centre open is the answer. So as council, as I said earlier, we recognize we have no jurisdiction over the affairs of Michener Centre, but when the motion was put forward, I put it forward to affect the employment of several hundred people in our community, and that will cause considerable financial and family upheaval. It's important to acknowledge that several times over the last few days and weeks, I have heard from family members and employees who work at Michener, and they say, you're worried about the well-being and care of the residents if they're moved. You have a relationship with the residents, and you are like their family as well. And for those who say that this rally is about self-interest as professionals losing jobs, I say we should never apologize for standing up for our jobs or public services in our community. You, we, together, and those that aren't with us today, the concerned citizens and Albertans, have genuine concern that previous undertakings that have been given to the residents and families of Michener should be honored. We do not accept broken promises. And let us ask the province again, please let the residents live out their lives at Michener Centre with the care and consideration they deserve. End my comment with a quote from Gloria Steinem. She's 79, and for the young people in the crowd, Gloria Steinem was an American feminist journalist and social and political activist, and she became recognized as a leader for the women's liberation movement in the 60s and 70s. She says, whenever one person stands up and says, wait a minute, this is wrong, it helps other people to do the same. So my friends, thank you for standing up, and may others join us to give the message to our provincial government to keep Michener Centre open and allow the residents to live out their life. And last, we are reminded of the saying, a society is measured on the basis of how it treats its weakest members, the last, the least, and the lost. So again, Government of Alberta, we ask you to reconsider the closure of Michener Centre impacting some 125 persons, allow the residents to continue their life in peace, dignity, and respect at their home, Michener Centre. Be strong.
Thank you all for being here. This is tremendous. This is 3:30 on a Wednesday. I mean, to be here and show support is just tremendous, and I thank you very much. You just heard from Diane. That was the first on the top of my list to thank you. I want to thank the City of Red Deer for what, and as well the Red Deer Public School Board for the first letters of support. These organizations went beyond the call of duty. They just didn't sort of play the political game and just say, well, thanks, you know, we don't really like this. They went, they specified, they pointed out what we know, you know. We all know that Michener is important, and it should be here, and it should be kept open, so I thank them very much for that. Particularly, I want to thank the Red Deer Advocate because they've been instrumental in getting our message and publishing our letters and keeping our voice and our face in the public sector, so thank you again very much. Opposition parties, I want to thank because immediately they came on board, all three parties. They did not see this as political opportunism or whatever. They stood with us. They will stand with it starting towards the end of this week and next week. Members of our families, etc., will be in the legislature, be introduced from the floor, and they will be able to speak on our behalf from the floor and attack this government for what is basically an immoral decision. Least, of course, are the AUPE members, the caregivers at Michener Centre. I haven't, my brother was there for 27 years. He passed away 3 years ago. But in those 27 years, I saw nothing but care and love, and I owe you a great deal. And that is why I am here today, because I owe you that respect. I do want to say that this is a tale of broken promises. This is not about an election promise by Miss Redford for a bridge, a road, wages that were promised but were taken away. She's already done that enough. But this is a tale of broken promises about flesh, bone, hearts, human beings that were given a promise. In 2008, under Moving Ahead, we were given a promise. It's written, it's passed, it was approved at a ministerial level that no one would be forced to leave Michener Centre. And this is something that they must be held accountable to.
That's right.
This government's idea of transparency is a joke. That's right. All right, we know that Mr. Oberle likes to use the big I word. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's called institution. He throws it out there like the boogeyman. He wants everyone to be afraid so that our resolve and all that won't be there, but that isn't the case. We know that Michener is not an institution, it's been a community of care. Continue to be a community of care. If Mr. Oberle wants to use the I word, then I would suggest ignorance. I'm rolling here. Soon I'll be on the karaoke machine, but don't you When Mr. Oberle was asked by one of our family members what he thought of the Moving Ahead report, he says, well, I'm not familiar with it. All right, that's ignorance. All right? 10 months in office, he has still not read it or acted on any part of it. That to me is ignorance. He totally dismisses the 8 Premier's Awards, of which the Moving Ahead report in 2009 was the silver medal winner in that category. Again, this is ignorance. And perhaps the worst is that he's choosing to ignore that 95% of the individuals that live at Michener have chosen through informed choice, and the families, that they wish to remain there, and they were given that promise, and he is being ignorant about this. This, I believe, is her 4th trip to the United States. Yes. She has yet to put 1 foot on Michener. And yet her government decides that Michener is an institute without even having the decency to arrive, to look, to visit, to talk, and to understand the compassion that is at Michener. Ask me, why are you doing this? David passed away 3 years ago. What's this about? I'll tell you what it's about. It's a question of honor and respect. And this is a fundamental principle of mine. My parents taught me this. I've seen them fight. I am fighting this fight for what I call the old guard. These are the people that were behind me, the people now that are 70, 80 years old that cannot fight this fight anymore. They need younger voices to stand up and say there is nothing wrong with Michener, the choice was right, and they need to have people help them. That's important to Canadians is how we take care of people. Our medical system, our Medicare, we believe in compassion. Until a month ago, I am a Canadian, I was a proud Albertan. Today, I'm an Albertan. I want to become a proud Albertan again. And to conclude, I would like to remind Mr. Oberle that as Associate Minister in the Department of Human Services, it's about time that he puts the human back into the services. So keep Michener open. Thank you.
Just know what the right thing is to do at this time.
As your neighbor MLA, I support you, the leader of the Wild Rose official opposition supports you, and we stand together with the Liberals and the New Democrats, and we will not close Michener Centre.
Thank you on behalf of the Alberta Liberal Caucus, but really, more with my colleagues here, this is a human issue.
Yes.
It's not a political issue. This is a test of the moral character and moral fiber of our government. We must stand with you. This must not happen. We'll keep fighting for you, but thank you so much for this opportunity and keep up the good work. The staff, the patients, and the members of this community, we stand strong beside you. Thank you.
Enough is enough. Enough
The Alberta government has lied to the people of this province when Alison Redford says she's not going to hurt the most vulnerable in society. We say BS! Because the most vulnerable in society are the ones that are being loved and cared for at Michener Centre, and they're being evicted by a ruthless, heartless government that keeps lying to the people of this province. Many a battle. AUP is proud in every community across this province to not just stand up for our members, and we always will, but more importantly to stand with Albertans shoulder to shoulder, side by side, protecting the services that you rely upon every single day to make sure that Alberta is healthy, safe, and is productive. That's what we'll do every single day. We will stand up with Albertans and protect those services, and we do so proudly. We're doing it here now. I know we will win this struggle, and you have to make the local MLAs pay for these decisions.
Make them pay! Make them pay! Make them pay!
What being on the right side of a struggle is like. Doesn't it feel good to know you're in the right? So thanks so much for coming out. I'm so proud of our members of Michener. Really am. You guys have struggled hard, and I know that your first concern, your ultimate concern, is for those people that you look after every single day.
I'm really impressed with the turnout of this event and the passion. These are citizens of Red Deer standing up for what's right and to try and stop the closure of Michener Centre, and you can just feel the passion for that, for the work that's done there and the caring and the love that's provided there to those very vulnerable Albertans. So I think it's really important that the citizens of Red Deer continue to stand up together and fight back, just like they've started to do today.
This afternoon was a really important day for political history in Red Deer. On the City Hall steps, we have hundreds of Red Deerians coming together to say, don't close Michener Centre. And when you think about politics, politics is about people. And yes, we're concerned about potholes, snow removal, the roads, traffic lights, but ultimately cities make decisions for people. We're urging the provincial government to not close Michener Centre. Those residents have a home there, and none of us would like to be evicted from our home. So I'm hoping governments listen, and we will see Michener Centre be a strong advocate and home for those with developmental disabilities. I felt that people cared. I felt that when it comes down to making a statement, this is the time. A society is often judged by how you make decisions about treating the least, the lost, those who cannot speak for themselves, and that's what this moment and the rally was about. And if we don't speak up, who will? And nothing's worse than saying, I wish I would have. And today was evident. Hundreds of people came out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a cool day to stand up and say to the government, please listen to us, don't close Michener Centre.
This decision with Michener has happened in Red Deer. The Redford government has manufactured a fiscal crisis. I call this bitumen bubble a bitumen sham. The reality is the price of oil is $12 differential today. The government is downloading the burdens onto the most vulnerable in society. And the residents of Michener are the most vulnerable seniors in our province. They deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And that's more than just a care facility, it's a home for them. And the care providers are like family. Society is judged by how we treat our most vulnerable. The Redford Conservatives treat our most vulnerable as a cost to be cut, as something to be sold off to their private buddies so their privateer buddies can make a profit. And here, every political party other than the government stands united that this is not a political value, it's not a liberal or conservative value, this is a human and Albertan value we must fight to protect.